And 36-year-old Charles Antwi has been sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for second-degree felony after he told an Accra Circuit Court he wanted to kill President Mahama.
Presiding Judge Justice Francis Obri, after giving judgment, warned he should be kept away from people for a while.
36-year-old unemployed Charles Antwi was charged for unlawful possession of firearm after he was arrested at Ringway Gospel Assemblies of God Church, where President Mahama and his family fellowship. Lead prosecutor Superintendent Frank Ba told the court the suspect illegally possessed a cocked, locally manufactured double-barrel pistol with 2 rounds of ammunition after he appeared fidgety at the president's church, praying the court for more time to investigate the matter. The suspect, however, pleaded not guilty after shocking confession that he went to the church to kill the president. He also told the court he bought the pistol from a Burkinabe in Nkranza. He cited bad governance, unstable power supply, economic hardship as his reasons for harboring his plans, after which he surprisingly said he had earlier planned to kill President Mills too to become president. Charles Antwi argued former President Rawlings killed, went to prison, came back and became president, so he could also do same. He said he was directed to the president's church by a soldier after persistently visiting the castle, demanding to see him. He told the court he had been at the president's church on 4 different occasions. Charles Antwi confessed he saw the president on his first day but did not have the pistol. However, in all 3 subsequent visits, he brought the pistol only to meet his absence. After his submission, he was found guilty with a charge of a second-degree felony. Trial Judge Justice Francis Obri in his judgment noted he was a first-time offender who needed no mercy because his action was a premeditated one to kill the president, and subsequently convicted him to a maximum jail term of 10 years.
So High Court Judge Justice Obri has indicated clearly in his judgment that Charles Antwi should be kept away from where human beings are because it is suspected that he may do harm anytime when he comes into contact with anybody. From the Kokwa First Court here in Accra, Edward Kwabi for TV3 News.
And as expected, the issue has generated discussions on both legal and medical grounds. Right now, we look at the medical perspective and we speak to Dr. Emmanuel Asampon. He's a clinical psychologist. Doc, many thanks for agreeing to speak with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm sure you have followed the issue. What are your observations on the convict's confession in court today?
Well, first of all, let me just indicate clearly that I'm speaking purely from a very psychological point of view. Well, from everything that I'm listening to and hearing, right from when he started talking, and in terms of where he went to, and all the subsequent places that he went, I mean, I would have question marks, as to whether everything is okay, because then, I mean, this clearly is somebody who has lost touch with reality, because it cannot be that you would have this conception and you would want to, follow through and get so close to your target, as it were. And so narrowing it down, I kind of have this feeling that this may be somebody who is having, a condition we call grandiose delusion. What it simply means is that this actually is a delusional disorder, and it occurs in people who suffer usually from a very wide range of mental illness. And so it's kind of difficult to pinpoint that this must be the exact thing that is happening to the person. Now, there are a number of mental health challenges that, could make somebody be in a situation like that. The very first one we can think of is if the person has problems with his mood, in which case I'm specifically referring to if he is depressed. If he is depressed, he would have gotten to a point where he feels helpless. I mean, he feels hopeless. And a lot of the time, such people, sometimes when they have gotten to the extreme, kind of like have suicidal tendencies. Now, a lot of the times they may not want to do it all by themselves or do it all alone. So they may, as it were, also target people around, and then usually when they have succeeded in doing that, they also take their life. Now, secondly, it is also the case that this person may have a condition we call schizophrenia, and for such people, they tend to have all kinds of delusions. They tend to live in a world of their own. They lose touch seriously with reality, and sometimes the way they talk, sometimes we have had instances where people have even said that, well, I have met God, and God is saying this and that, so
right.
That is also there. Then the other thing is that, is this person also, taking some substance? Because again, that condition can be triggered by somebody who is abusing substance or somebody who has a substance abuse disorder. And the very nice characteristics that we can easily identify is somebody who comes with a very fantastic belief. Like this person who I understand is saying that he is supposed to be president.
Right.
Clearly, that this is somebody who has lost touch with reality. So, in fact, having said all this, I think what comes to mind clearly is the fact that, look, human life is actually interwoven with, psychological stability or instability. And therefore, it makes it very necessary that at any point in time, we should be able to understand the mental stability, or if you like, the emotional stability of an individual before we would be able to handle the person appropriately.
Yeah, so Dr. Asampon, if I understand you, I follow you closely, you are suggesting that some kind of examination could have taken place at least before the sentencing, right?
Definitely. I think that would have given us a better perspective of the kind of person we're dealing with. Because as it is, it appears that we have lost some aspect of it. And, we should also understand that if indeed it so happens that he has some mental health challenge, mental health challenge, you and I can have it at any point in time. And that clearly would mean that this individual is not okay. And for me, what I'm worried about is that if it is that indeed he has a challenge and we do not seek any help or assistance for him, it doesn't really matter the number of years he is kept away. That condition will still be there. And so
we're grateful, Dr. Emmanuel Asampon, clinical psychologist, giving us his perspective of the sentencing of one Antwi who is claiming he wanted to kill President John Mahama and become the president of Ghana.